then.
Okay, now it's being recorded, so even if they join us later, you'll get access to the recording. So let's get started. So I'll go back to, let me share my screen. Sorry, the person that is at a noisy place, please mute your mic, please, so you don't distract the class. Hello guys, please mute your mic. For design space, please mute your mic. For design space. Hello, for design space at gmail.com. Please mute your mic. It's distracting people. Okay, thank you. God bless. Okay, so let me share my screen now. Okay, let me come to my. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen right now. Hello, guys. Hello.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. I just wanted to confirm. I didn't want to leave you guys behind. So I did this to explain to the other guy. So let's continue from where we stopped. Now we have our data set brought in. We want to clean, we want to model, we want to do a lot of stuff on them. So my own advice is, when you bring in data like this, some of the first things you really have to first do, is to look at each column. Look at, what type of data you have there. Look at what type of format it's supposed to take. Look at some of those things. Look at, try to know, is it numerical data you have there? Is it categorical? Is it text-like data you have there? So that will tell you, what you really need to do with each column and how you can go ahead to make it clear. So in this case, I see that, I have a date column, which is normally supposed to be a date. So if we check, I'll click on the date, like this symbol that is by the left. You see that it is looking like a calendar. So it is actually in the right, the right format is supposed to be. Then I'll go on to the next column, check this. You see this as, a kind of ABC, like alphabet. This branch column is denoted with alphabet. So it means that automatically PowerBI understands that this is a test column. So it made it a test. If I come to sales agents, it's the same. All I have there, they are test alphabets. So we have no problem with any of those, like in the format. Then the product is the same. I have ABC too. Yeah, all I have there are, laptop products, Apple, Lenovo, and all of that. So yeah, they are just A, B's, and C's. I'll come to check my units too. If I come to check my units, so seeing the units, I have numbers. Yes, and the data type is numbers, because Power BI always shows you the format it has recorded for your data at this side. So when you look at this side, if you are not seeing the right thing, that is when you need to actually click. Then you come and change it. You give it the type of data set you want it to be, or the type of data type you want it to be. If this was a date, then I would have come here and selected date, but it's not. It's number. So if it was decimal, I could have selected this, but it's not decimal. It's whole number, because all I have here is 415. I don't have any point, anything. So I'll just keep that as my whole number. Let it be a whole number. I don't want to mess with it. Then I have my price here. Now this is price. Everybody expects price to be in, I don't know, dollars, naira, maybe some currency, but it's giving me here. You see that it's marking it as a decimal for me. So I'm having 125, 1 point something. So I don't want that. I want, I want my pricing to be in currency. So what I'll do is I'll come and select fixed decimal number. So it says I want to change the column type now. It is supposed to permit me to change the column type. So if I say yes, I want to replace the current one. I want to make it, So yes, Power BI is going to change it to currency for me. Now he understands that I'm working with currency. In this case, you would see that Power BI is giving it a dollar sign. Yeah. If you don't necessarily want to work with dollar, you can change it. So I will show you how to work with that as we go on. If you want to change it, you want to change it to naira, you want to change it to whatever you want to change it to. So, but yeah, I'm all about telling Power BI that we want to work with currency first. So now you see that automatically Power BI makes it to 2 decimal places, because every currency has like the naira and the kobo, the dollar and the cents. So this first part will be signifying the dollar now, and the other later part will be signifying how many cents you have. So now we've seen that it is correctly formatted the way it should be. Some of the things you have to now come and check again. You have to check on each row of each column. What is happening there? Click on the column, check what's happening. Look at, when you click on this filter, it opens up the entries you have in the column for you. So you can actually check and see what you have going on inside each column. So I'll see here that, most of my data are 2014, as you can see. See, all I'm saying is 2014. And sorry, please mute your mics. Hello. Please mute your mic so we don't have to get distracted because of you. Thank you. So you see that I have 2014 and I have 2015 in my data set. So that's just familiarizing yourself with your data set, getting to know what you have in each column, and so on and so forth like that. So here I know that this is what I have in my date column. I'll come to my branch column too. I'll check what I'll have there by filtering it. So once I filter it, I can see that here there is a lot happening. I have the branches that are supposed to be the yes from probably the description of the data you got before you started working. You will know what you are expecting to have in each column. So in this place, you have the location of. Just mute your mic if your mic is on. Hello. A minute, sir. Okay, I think that's sorted now. So I can see what I have there. So I see that I have, I have Agege, I have Ikeja, and okay, I think I'm having a shorter form of Ikeja here, and I'm having some inconsistencies. Okay, that's fine. So in this case, what I really need to do is select those places and see what is happening there. So if I come and select this IKJ and click on OK, Power BI is going to automatically filter the rows and show me that place, and I can see what's happening there. Ikeja, we definitely know that the person was probably trying to fill in Ikeja, because I think this is a short form of writing it. So what we need to do is just to make our data set consistent, we have to change it. We cannot keep it like this. It will be causing problem for our data set. So what we need to do is just change this, and that is easy to do. what we need to just do is, right click. When you right click, you say you want to replace values. And when you say you want to replace values, yes, so we found the value already. It is written in this box automatically. So what I just have to do is, I have to replace it with the correct spelling. So I'll type in Ikeja the correct way it should be. So if I do that, one thing to always keep in mind when you are replacing values with either Microsoft Excel or Power BI, you have to always click on match entire cell content. What match entire cell content does is that it makes sure that what you are replacing with is not repeated. So just as a courtesy, always remember to check this. So if I click on OK, you can see that automatically that has been corrected, and you can see here it's saying I've replaced the value. Meanwhile, everything you do on your data set is going to be showing by this side, so you can easily come here and check on the last action you performed. So the last action I performed here was I replaced the value IKJ with Ikeja. So you can see that it says I replaced the value here. Okay, so if I choose not to want to do that again, if I want to go back to where I was, like Control Z, I just have to delete this last step, then I'll be back to where I was before. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I have to do is just come and remove my filter from my data set so that I can have the whole of the data back. I told you that everything you do on this side comes out as a step here, right? So when I filtered, it came out as a step here. It says I filtered the rows. So I just have to come and delete this. I don't want to see the filtered rows again. I want to see everything right now. So if I delete the filtered rows, yes, I'll delete it. Then let's check my data set again. You see that the IKJ has gone. Now I don't have IKJ no more here. It has been turned to Ikeja, right? So I'll do the same for this. I think this is the one wrongly spelled too. So I'll do the same for it and replace the value. So I'll go there, go to the point. I'll click on replace value. I'll put in the correct spelling. Oh, sorry. I'll put in the correct spelling. So once I do that, I match the cell content too, and I say okay, and that should be that should be correctly spelled now. Now that that is correctly spelled, I'll remove my filter again. Once I delete my filter and I check my column now, you can see that yes, everything is back to normal. I have Agege, I have Ikeja, and I have Oshodi. So I think we are done replacing the values. So what you always have to keep in mind too is that you always have to learn to trim your text columns. Please never forget, you always have to learn to trim your text columns. Sometimes people want to type in some text and they put space before the text, they put space after the text. It's not like that here, but in some cases it can cause some inconsistencies in your data. So what trim does is it removes, if there is a space before the text, it removes it so that you can make sure that all of your entries are consistent. So there is nothing like that here, but just as a courtesy, like a normal routine. So you just come to transform and you say you want to trim. So once you trim, every irrelevant space is going to be removed. So your data looks clean. So you can see the trim action I performed is showing it by this side now. Yeah. So I come to the next column. What I do is check what's happening here too. Is there any inconsistency? So I have the sales agent's name, I have Blessing, Chinedu, I have Choma, and the rest of them. So I see a kind of inconsistency with Ibrahim, I guess. I see a kind of inconsistency with Ibrahim. So I'll go there and try to check what's happening. I think that's the only one that, okay. I see an inconsistency with George too. Okay. I see an inconsistency with George too. So I will just click on all the ones I feel maybe I have a problem with. I can bring them out and sort them. So I'll filter them out. Now that I've filtered them out, I can see them. So this is Ibrahim. I feel this is the one that I have a problem with the spelling. So simple, I just have to do the same thing, replace the values. So I don't want it to be this, I want this rather. So yeah, I think this is the correct one. So I match the cell content and I say okay. And once I do that, you see that that has been cleared. We have a problem with George too. But the problem I have with George, that's an easier problem to deal with. That's an easier problem to deal with. So let me go back to the full data. Then I will show you how to deal with this problem with George. The problem with George is that it starts with a small letter. And when you have things that are the same, starting with one with capital letter, one with small letter, it's always causing a problem in your data set. Because Power BI sees them as two different people. Probably sees this George as another George from this. But you don't want it to see it as that. They are the same person. So let me remove my filter first. Let me remove my filter. As you can see, George is here too. The bigger, the one with the bigger capital G and the one with the smaller G. So what you have to do in this case is you have to, capitalize. There's a transformation function we call capitalize each word. So if I say capitalize each word, what will happen is that George with a small letter G will be converted to capital letter G, so everything can sync together. So let's see, in case there is any other one that is starting with a small letter spelling. Once you run this for the entire column, I think everything should work out well. Yeah, so you can see that the other George starting with a small G has been corrected to George, and it has seen everything as one now. So that's how it's supposed to be. So you can trim these two just as a courtesy. Trim to make sure that. So I'll come to my product, check for the same two. Okay. Yeah, I think this is the problem is with HP. I think this. So let's see. Let's convert these ones there. So I pick them out. I select them. So I have Lenovo. I have HP. So I'll replace the values one by one. What I'll do is first I'll replace Lenovo. Wait, it has to be Lenovo. Yeah, it has to be Lenovo. So I'll correct that. This has to be HP. Yeah, I think both of them are capital, H and P. So I'll make this HP. I'll match the content. I'll do the same for HP too. No, the other P has to go. So I'll just make this HP. Yeah. So once I'm done doing that, say okay. Then I can go back to remove my filtered rows now so that I can have all my other rows back. So once I say delete and I check my data, I should have it sanctified. Yeah. So as you can see, I have Apple now, I have Compaq, I have Dell, I have HP, I have Lenovo. So no inconsistencies. The column is clean. The column is clean. Mind you, why I will not come here and say capitalize each word for this column is because I want HP to be written as capital letter H and capital letter P. I don't want it to be written as capital H and small p. So we'll leave this way. You can trim it if you feel there are spaces somewhere. Trim it. So I come to my units and check out what's happening in my units. Do you have any inconsistencies, anything that looks strange? Okay. Now there is a way to look for inconsistencies in numbers too. Yeah, there is a way we do that. If you want to notice an inconsistency in a column that has numbers, you have to look for values that are far out. We call them outliers in analysis. We call them outliers. But one thing you will notice whenever there is an outlier is that there will be one value that will be very, very, very far from the other values. Maybe you are dealing with sales that a maximum you sell like 5 cartons, 3 cartons, 2 cartons. You now go ahead to see maybe 201 cartons. You would know that definitely there's probably something wrong here because the values are not gradual. It's just one of them just exploded, or maybe a couple of them just exploded. So in those cases, you're working with an outlier. But in this case, as you can see, the values are, aligned, gradually increasing. So gradually increasing. So we don't have a problem with this. So check my price column too. Check what's up here. Check what's happening there. Okay. If there are big values, try to check what is happening. Just try to look around. It's just about, trying to check your data, trying to see, try to correlate what's happening there. Yeah, if it looks like the price is expensive in this case, you look at the product. Okay, the product is maybe because the product is more expensive than the others. It's Apple in this case, unlike the others where you have, the Lenovo, you have these things. So yeah, it's still acceptable. So you can keep that too. And just in how many minutes we've run through all the columns, to check what's happening, what is what and what is not. So Power BI has a feature for you to check too. You can check your column distribution now. You can see, is there any problem? So our column, if you come to your view bar and you check your column distribution, you would see that it says that, okay, you have 43 values here. Okay, let me use column profile instead. Let me use my column profile. Okay, it says you have 43 values in this column. Yes, the count of it is 43. The distinct values are 43 and unique value are 43. It means that no date in this column is repeated. So you have to learn how to interpret, these statistics that Power BI will give you to. In fact, this is how some people clean their data set. They just use this. Then once they discover errors here, they start cleaning straight up. So you can see the minimum dates here. You can see the maximum dates there. You can see average dates. If I go to the next column, I can see, okay, what's the count of the rows I have? I have 43 of them. How many is distinct? 3. Okay, means that's true because we have only 3 branches. Yeah, so we have only 3 distinct values. Okay, so there are no empty strings. There are no unique values, right? You see, it's calling this minimum or maximum is not useful to you because this is text. So it will give, the one that starts with A as minimum and the one that starts with the last alphabet as maximum. But then you can check other columns. You can check here. So you would see, how many, okay, you see, Blessing is repeated 8 times, Ibrahim, and the rest of them like that. Check their distinct. So many things you can do with that. You can try to, explore that on your own and see how you can work with that. It makes your work more easy. If there's anywhere where you have error values, you will see them here. Error, maybe 2 places, it will be listed there. Then it just gives you in this case, you have this space is numerical. So you have minimum 2, you have maximum, you have average, and all of that. So many descriptive statistics that can be useful to you. So that's it for the data cleaning. So we are going to be moving briefly to data modeling. But then before we move, I just want to entertain questions. If you have questions, let me know, and let's see how we can trash that very quickly before we'll proceed from there. So please, any questions now? Hello guys, anyone has questions? So if there are no questions, I'm going to be moving on. So I want to take the questions now, so we don't get drawn back when we've gone so far. Okay. So I need someone to just answer me and say no questions. If there's someone to say there are no questions, then I can move on.
No question.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, you can mute your mic back. so I can go back to what we're doing. So if there are no questions with that, we can move on now. Some of one of the things you have to learn to do too is to model your data. I could have taken this class without taking data modeling. It wouldn't affect anything. I'll still be able to work on our data, be able to visualize it, be able to make a dashboard, be able to do whatever I want to do. But then I just thought to include it, it's a part that many people tend to brush aside and stuff like that. It's important to, it just gives you that edge, you know how to model your data, and modeling takes workload off your computer. It does not overstress it. Imagine you are working on your visualization and you have to come to this table is not big, it's very small. You have to work with a very big table, and you have to now come and start bringing columns out from the bigger table each time. Your computer, if it's a low RAM computer, is going to get weary, because Power BI is intensive on its own. It's a very heavy software, I tell you. So, but when you model, you are breaking your work down. You are thinking as if you are not the only one working. Now you are thinking like you are an analyst working in a group. You are working with a scientist, you are working with an engineer, you are working with all of those people. So it is easy for them to even look at what you're doing and be able to correlate the flow in your data from what is going to what is the connection between what, and all of that. So that is what data modeling will help you to solve. So to start data modeling, I may not be able to explain it to to the maximum capacity, but then I hope you'll be able to grasp the concept. So to do our data modeling, let's start by renaming this our first sheet. We are going to call it a fact table. So I'm going to call this a fact table, because the base sheet, we call it often fact table. It doesn't matter, you can choose to keep it however you want to keep it, but then I'm used to working that way. So I'll call it a fact table. That's like where I have every other column, the table where you plan to remove the other tables. So I'll call it a fact table. So what I'll do next is I'll duplicate it. I'll duplicate it again. Let's stay with this for now. If we need to duplicate it more, then as we go on, we'll duplicate it again. So what I want to do first is my first duplication now. I want to make it a table that is specifically designed for our branches. I'm going to come to dates too, but let's start working with branches. I'm going to make it a table that is specifically designated for our branches. So we are going to call it a dimension branch table. It's a dimension table that deals with the branches. So I'm going to call it dim branch, dimension branch. So if I call it dimension branch, then I can say enter. So once I say enter, I can, come to my branch column, click on it, then right click, say remove all other columns. So if I remove other columns, I have only my branch. I still have a step to go. I say remove duplicates. Then I remove duplicates. So if I remove duplicates, now you can see that I have only my 3 branches. I have Agege, I have Ikeja, and I have Oshodi. So what I'll do next is, what I'll do next is I'll come to my add column tab here, and I'll say give me an index column from 1. Give me an index column from 1. So now that I have an index column from 1, I'm going to drag it here to this other side. How you do it is just click down, hold, and drag. So I've moved it here, and I can call this my branch ID. So I call this my branch ID. Now I have a branch ID. But one thing about working with IDs is that you always have to learn to keep your IDs as a text, because ID is only a unique identifier. Let me give you an instance of what an ID is. You all have SIMs. Some of us use MTN, some use Airtel, some use Glo, and the likes. Each customer of MTN has ID. So my own phone number is my own ID. Another person's phone number is a person's ID. MTN does not necessarily have to mention your name. When they put your number out there, they are talking about you. You have NIN that makes you known as a Nigerian citizen. If they put your NIN out there, they don't need to mention your name. The NIN is linked to you. So it's the same kind of thing we are generating for our branches. So we are generating like an ID to, to know our branches, even without mentioning their name. When they say branch 001, branch S001, branch this, branch that, you know that this is the branch they are talking about, right? So I'll make it a text. I explained why I'm making it a text, because you don't want to be performing calculations on your ID. You don't want to be summing them. There is nothing you want to gain from that. They are just to identify your branches. Like I gave an example about phone numbers that time. You don't want to sum your phone numbers. What do you plan to get with that? You just want to display them and maybe put the name of the customer beside it. So I hope that explains it to you guys. Okay, that's with that. I have that done. So I'll come to the next table. I'll make it for my sales agent. So I'm going to make that dim agent. And you know what? I'm going to just come remove every other column and remove my duplicate for my sales agent. Once I remove my duplicates, and I can insert an index column too. Yeah. I'm using the simplest way of making the index. You can choose to make your index however you want it. You can make it 01, 02, 03, as anyhow you want it. So I'll say this is my agent ID. Now I don't need to mention my agent names again. Once I say agent 001 or agent 1 or agent 9 or agent 11, yeah, the person knows. So I'm going to make it a text like we've been doing. Let me see what I can make a table for again. I've made for branch, I've made for sales agent. I'm going to make for product too. Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm going to make for product. So I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to call this dim product or dim prod. So I call it dim product. So I'd remove other columns or remove duplicates from this. And I'll give this an index column 2. So this is to be moved forward. I would say my dim product, product ID, and once I call this my product ID, it changes to text 2. Yeah, so we have 3 extra tables now, but then we are not done. Just one last one. We need to duplicate this column again, this table again. And now we need to make a date dimension table. So I'll call this dim date. Dim, date. And I'll remove other columns except my date column. Sorry, remove other columns. So then I'll see if they are duplicates. By that, from our column profile, we had no duplicates. It told us that we have 43 unique values. So there are no duplicates. But then just to clear it out, let me do the same thing so you can see. I'd say remove duplicates. Can you see? Look down here, guys. I'm dragging my cursor. So it still has 43 rows. So nothing has been removed. It means that in the first place, there was no duplicate. Okay. Now that we've been able to sort that, now we can, start working on this column, extract some other meaningful things out of it that can make it, more useful to us. Like we can extract the year out of it. We can extract the month out of it. We can extract, if we want, the day out of it. But then, for this, let me just extract some things that we are going to need out of this date column. So I say add column. I come to add column at the top bar. Date. let me extract the year out of it. So I want the year extracted out of it. So as you can see, I have extracted my year from this 2015, 2015, 2014, 2014. So in the same vein, I can come here again, and extract my, what's important there again? I can extract my month out of it. I will say I want to extract the name of month. So as you can see, this 9th month is September, 6th month is June, 9th month September, 10th month October, 4th month April. So successfully I've been able to extract my months. Okay, one other thing that is always needful for us to do when we are extracting our months is to extract our month number. We need to extract our month number. That's very important for us to. I would explain why we need to do that as we go on. You will see the need for that. So I say date, extract month, months. This will give me the number of the month. So I've extracted my month name, month sort. We don't want to do our analysis to our year level here. Okay, maybe we can extract our quarter too, quarter of the year out of the dates. Say quarter, quarter of the year. Yeah. So this our quarter will be like 1, 2, 3, 4. First 3 months, quarter 1. Second 3 months, quarter 2. Third 3 months, quarter 3, and the last 3 months in the fourth quarter. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and so on. So I say okay. But then I don't want it like this. I want it to look more appealing. It's just number. So I'll just, let me see what I can do to that. Let me transform this. Okay, let me make a new column out of it. Let me say add a new column and say I want to customize the column. Yeah, does that work? Okay, I think the other one is much faster. Let me say I want to column from example. Okay, invoke custom function. Which one is that faster one? Faster one. See this. Let me see. I don't very fast one. Where is it? Okay. Okay, so let me see if I make this Q1. Oh, sorry, Q3. Sorry, please mute your mic. There's going to be time for questions in case you have questions to ask. So I made this new column out of this. I just added Q in front so that we can know that it's quarter 3, quarter 2, quarter 4, quarter 1, and so on and so forth. So if I've added this, I don't need this anymore. Let me just remove this. Then I'll name this quarter. Yeah, I think this is fair. I prefer this. I'll have it as quarter 3, quarter 2, quarter 1, and so on. Yeah, so we have all of our dimension tables now. We have our date, we have our year, we have our month, our product, date, agent, branch, and all of that. So it's always a courtesy to have a primary key for all of our tables. As you can see, I have a primary key for this one. Date is exception. Your date is exception. I have a primary key for this product ID. I have a primary key for this agent ID. I have a primary key for this branch ID. So yeah, we can choose to give this a primary key too. If we give this a primary key, it means that every transaction is going to have an ID. So I put in an index column, say from 1. Let me move it to the left-hand side. I'd say, where is it? Okay, let me drag it. Drag it here. So it comes to the first row. Then I can call this maybe sales ID or transaction ID or whatever we choose to call it. So I can make this a text too. Good. You see the alignment changed the moment I made it a text. Now that we've gotten all of our tables out, we can, now start implementing them into our fact table. So what I will do first is, I'll come to my date table. I'll come to my date table. I'll come to my home tab. I'll say merge queries. So I want to merge it with the new date dimension table that I have. So I'll say dim date. That's my dim date. Yeah. So I'll click on this guy in the fact table. I'll click on this other guy here. Then you can see that the selection matches. This is joining them with an outer join. So I'll say okay. So those are joined now. I'll come here, click on this symbol. Then what do I want? Yeah, I want my date. So if I get my date, then I can come and delete the hold date. There is no need for that. I don't need it anymore. Now that I have the date that corresponds with the other date dimension table. So I'll remove my date column. So this can be my date now. I can just call this my date. Yeah. Beautiful. So I'll do the same for my branch too. I'll say I want to merge the query. My branch. I want to merge it with my dimension branch. I want to merge it. So once I have the green sign, I can go ahead. And I'll change this. But yeah, I'm not going to pick my branch out. I'm going to bring my branch ID out. Why am I bringing my branch ID out? Because this is a fact table. It is the one that should contain the primary keys of the other tables, right? So all you'll be seeing in this fact table are primary keys, except for those tables that, or for anything that does not need a primary key. So I would make this my dimension branch. So rather than having Ikeja branch, I can have branch 1 here now. Rather than having Oshodi branch, I can have branch, it will just be called 2 or something. So I'll delete my normal branch. I'll delete this. And I'll make this my branch ID in this table. Beautiful. So I'll do the same for my sales agent. Yeah, is that the next one to do? Okay, this is the next one. So I'll come and merge the queries. My sales agent. So dim agent, that's where I have my sales agent. So I'll link this up. I'll say okay. Yeah. Now I'll do the same thing. Just a repetition of steps, no big deal. So I'll do this. And now I can remove my sales agent and get the names out of this place. Let me remove this. Then this is my agent ID. This will be what identifies them here. In the same vein, I'll do for my product too. I think that's the last one. So I'll merge queries. Come on. Then I select my products, select the dim products table. I select my products here too. Then, I merge. Then I select this. I use my product ID. Once I'm done with that, I delete my products. I don't want to have them, since they are already represented in that other table. So where is, just remove it. So this will be called my product ID. Now you will see the essence of everything we've been doing when I get into the modeling tab. So now we have these guys back. Okay, so let me select all of them and let's try to move at the same time. Okay, that's permitted. Okay, yeah. Good. So this is what we have in our fact table. We have our date, branch ID, agent ID, product ID, sales ID. Sorry, I want my sales ID to be first. It's a unique identifier for this table. Good. Then we have our price and everything. So we have our table, dimension table branch, dimension agent, dimension products, and we have our date table. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So before I take the questions, I'm coming. Let me show you where it's going to lead us to. So once we are, done with this, we close and apply. We close and apply. Yeah, stop sharing my screen. So let me share again. Sorry, I think that it was that window I was sharing. So it's loading, as you can see. It's loading. So it takes a bit of time to load based on your system's capacity. So once it's done loading, you have that come up. Okay, so you can see by this side, it has loaded on my data pane. I have my dim agent, dim stuff, all of them. So I'll come to my modeling view, my model view, sorry. Come to my model view. Then you can see all of my tables, the dimension product table, the dim product. You can see it's joined to my fact table. You can see my agent table is joined to my fact table too. So dim date, dimension date is not joined, but then it is there. So I'll just say it is the same date with this date in my fact table. So I'll join them too. Yeah, this is going to be a one-to-one connection because each date represents a date here. So I'm going to save this. Good. But you can see what this is telling us is that each record in this dimension branch table is linked to multiple records in this fact table. This is a one-to-many relationship. This is what data modeling is all about. Because you have to do data modeling. It's available in Excel, available in PowerBI, available in SQL. There's no running away from it. So that was why I thought to bring that in. So each entry here has multiple entries here. Each entry here has multiple entry here. Do you get that? Each product was sold many times here. Each branch was patronized many times in this table. Each agent, made many sales in this table. And the date is one-to-one in this case. So that's it concerning. Now we have our data properly modeled, and the connection is probably shown. So any other person that wants to work on this data, they see this, they understand what's happening. They understand that these both tables, when you click on this, they are joined on agent ID. When they click on this, it's joined on product ID. When they click on this, yeah. So in case you have very large amounts of data sets you are working on, this makes your work neat, makes it clean. Yeah, and your team would breathe fresh air. So let me take the questions now. If there are any questions coming in, I think I should have questions now. I think so. So, hello guys. Are we there?
No question.
Okay. Other guys, I want you to talk. Do you have questions? Hello guys.
Hi, we are still here.
Are we together? Okay.
Yes, we're here.
Okay. So I think I can move on then. There's nothing to ask about that. Okay. So now that you have loaded your modeling tab, you've put your data in the correct format. Let's look at our table. Let's see. Okay, it's loading up. Let's see. Okay, let me come to the fact table. Now, what we plan to do What we plan to do on this data is, we plan to check on the branches, check how they're faring, check on the agents that need commendation, agents that we have to call and sit down and ask what's going on, why is it this way. So just to check on what's happening with the business. Really, are we doing good? Is there anybody that needs commendation, that needs incentive, that needs all of that? That's what we seek to do. So, and if in this case we have it's a sales data, and you can see we have units, we have prices. So a good place to start analysis is to look at how much each branch is bringing in, how much each sales agent is bringing in, how much is entering per year, how much is entering per month, how much is all of those stuff. So that brings us back to our transform pane, because seeing we have units here, we have price here, then there has to be a revenue definitely. So we'll say transform data just to bring it back to our calculation pane, so we can get the revenue column out of that. So what I'll do is I'll select this units sold. I'll select the price per unit. Then I will say I want to add a column. Standard mathematics. Okay. So I want to have a multiplication of both columns. So I say multiply. So once I do that, I have a multiplication of these two columns, and still in the same price currency. So I can say this is my revenue now. My revenue is units sold times price. Okay, beautiful. So I have what I have. So let's see what we can do with this. There's need to generate other columns. Check it out. So I'll close and apply. Okay. So I'll close and apply. Bring it here. So don't be alarmed that the prices you are seeing, this is a text data, to get the concept to us. So we go on, and now we can look at what we can start. What insights can we start bringing out of this? We can start checking from our branches, how much the branches are bringing in, how much the agents are bringing in, how much the products are bringing in, which product should we buy more, which product should we buy less, and all of those. You get me? We can easily just pick come to our visualization tab, come to our report view, pick a table. We could easily, in our table, say we want to check. Let me come to my fact table. We want to check maybe a sales agent now. Okay, so let me make that big so you can see what I'm doing clearly. I should make that 20 work. Okay, I say we want to check each sales agent. I want to check, how much they're bringing in, say revenue that comes in through each person. Okay, so we are seeing that this is how it is. You can decide to sort it, sort values. Sort by sum of revenue, so who's bringing in the most. So Emeka is at the top of the list right here. That Emeka is bringing the most of the money in, and the least performing is Toyin. So you started uncovering insights from your data already. Yes, but then for the sake of trying to make a dashboard, if you work like this, you'll be limited with how much you can format your data, with how aesthetically pleasing you can make it, how beautiful you can make it. So what you want to do is, rather than work like this, you want to just write a few measures want to write a few measures just to make give you the full control of your work so that you can manipulate, you can do a lot of stuff like that. So let's get rid of this for now. So I'll come to my table. What I want to do is, come to my fact table. I want to write a measure. When we talk about a measure is just like, you are writing calculations, like summations. You are performing you're performing summations. You are doing maybe a sum, a count, and just a variety of function on your columns of data. So what I want to do is I want to write a measure, and what I want to call the measure is, maybe we should call it something like our total revenue. I want to know this revenue when it's summed together, how much is it? So I can say call this my total revenue. So if I call this my total revenue, I can say equals to, I want to sum. I want to make a sum now. What's the name of the column I want to sum? As you can see, it's asking me for a column name. I can say the revenue. Yeah. So the order for Power BI is the table name, then the column name. So I'm making a sum of revenue column from the fact table. So if I say enter and I make a sum of that, let's go and put it on a display, maybe on a card, and let's see what we have. So if I put my measure on a card, okay, you can see. So I have the total revenue, the total sum of money that was made over the time period is here. Now that I have this, I could do a lot with this. I could do a lot. I could break the revenue down. If I bring a table, I could decide to, okay, you know what, let me bring this. I'll make this a table by selecting the table icon. And let me make the text big. So I'll just come to my values and say, I want to make it big. Yes. So I could make a list of the branches by the revenue. So I will see how much is coming in from each branch. Agege branch, this is how much they're making. Ikeja branch, this is how much they're making. Oshodi branch, this is how much they're making. You see that? So if I choose not to go that way, I could say, rather than putting my branch there, maybe I want to put my sales agent there. And sales agent, check how much his sales agent is making. Okay. I could say, okay, I want to check it for product. How much is each product making? And check which one is making more over the time and stuff like that. Okay. So let's not waste much of our time. Let's go to building the dashboard. Let's see what we can do. So I have my total revenue already. So just put it somewhere as a card. Just keep it here by one side. Okay. So another thing that can be useful for us to make is maybe we'll count the units of products sold, like the total units of products sold. How many products were sold in total throughout this sales period? So to do that, we'll be needing a new measure. So I can say total sold or total units sold. So total units now will be something like, sum of units. Like I told you, it has to be table first, then column. So the units column is in this table, fact table. So it says sum fact table units. If I click enter, then we can put it on a card too. Let me copy and paste this. Put it side by side. Okay, let me change this total revenue to total units so we can see. Okay, it means that all through the time of our sales, 2,121 units of laptop were sold, right? So That's informative. Then we can also be checking things like, creating another measure to check how many times did people patronize us, like how many sales did we make, like transaction, the count of the transaction. So you get what I'm trying to say. So if we say new measure, we'll put that in a new measure, and we say total transaction, yeah, we can say total transaction or total sales. Total transaction, yeah, that makes more sense. Total transaction, I say that's equal to, you want to make a count of, sorry about that. You want to make a count of our sales ID. So we make a count of our sales ID. Remember that sales ID uniquely identifies each transaction. This was a transaction. It's transaction 1, transaction 2, transaction 3, and so on, 4, 5, and so on like that. So making a count of our transaction ID is going to tell us how many times we made sales. So if I say enter, I can put that on a card too. If I put that on a card, I can, remove the units and, make total transactions. Okay. We had 43 transactions. Now, because we made this a measure, look at it, I can come and, click on the total units in this case. The measure. I format it. Maybe put a comma. So it looks more, yeah, 2,121. I think that's better for me. Okay. Now we are getting some of, the KPIs we need for our table. People can just look at your dashboard and, just at least get a brief idea of what's going on, even without looking at the complex visualizations or the other visualizations. Just look at the KPIs and the numbers makes some kind of sense to them. So let's make like a number of products. How many products do we even have? A number of products. So I'll put that in a new measure. Put that in a new measure, and say how many products did we sell? How many products? So I'll say products. So there are two ways you can do this. You can either say you want to make, a distinct count of your products in your fact table. Okay, sorry, product ID in your fact table, still the same. You can do that. Or you can choose to make, a count of, since we have a table that contains all our products, this is the dimension product. You can say we want to make a count of our products. That works too. So we want to make a count of our products from the dimension product table. Remember, these are dimension products table. So we just have 5 products. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we make a count of this, we should have 5 distinct products that we sell. We might have sold them multiple times, but then there are still 5 products. So I'll put that as, remove the transaction, make this my, products. Yes. So I have my number of products right here. I can have my number of, sales agent too. Put that under a new measure. It's probably come here, a fact table. Create a new measure and call that my sales agent. How many sales agents sell for us? How many sales agents sell for us? Yeah, that's it. So I'll make a count of. Remember, if you are working with your fact table, you have to use a distance count because there are so many entries for the sales agent. Each sales agent sold multiple times in your fact table. But then, if you are using your dimension agent table, then you can just make a count directly. So you can make a count of your agent ID. You can make a count of your sales agent in your dimension table. It's the same thing. So if I say enter, and I check how many agents do I have, I bring that to the side. Sorry about that. I can remove my product and put my sales agent right there. Okay. So let me make one last KPI. Then in case you have questions again, I can probably take questions. Which other KPI can be instrumental in this? Okay. Let's make okay. Let's make something like an average. An average, like on average, how much goods do people buy? Like when somebody enters any of our branch, how much goods do we expect them to buy on average? So let's say average average spends. Okay, how much do people spend on an average when they enter any of our shops? So when we say you want to calculate, how much you spend on average, that has to be like, the total amount that is spent over, like, how many times you made the transaction. Like if I come to your shop 5 times, maybe I bought a couple of stuff for the 5 different times. The total amount I've spent over the 5 times I came is what will give you an average of, how much stuff did I buy per time that I came into your shop. So I'm going to make that to be like total revenue. This is the total that we've earned of everything. Okay, let me use a divide function instead. I want to divide total revenue by number of transactions. What did I call that? Total transaction. Okay, that's total transaction. That's 43, as we saw. So if I work that should give us something reasonable. So I put that on a separate card. Rather than put sales agent, I'll put my average spend. Okay. So on average, people spend about 456. Okay. For each time they come into any of the stores, anywhere. So you can split this. You can make it a table and put the branches to show on average how much they spend when they enter Abuja branch. On average, how much they spend when they enter Ikeja branch. On average, how much they spend when they enter Ushodi branch. And can see that, I can see which branches, more profitable and which branches less profitable. Okay. But then let me return that to my card. Sorry. Is it becoming so big? Okay. So I'll take my branch out. And let me make this a card again. There's my card. Beautiful. I'm making this a card. So I can format this to remove, just to get rid of the decimal points. Click on the measure itself. Let me see how I can work with the decimal place. Let me make it 0. Like 0 decimal place. So it looks consistent. Okay. Now it's consistent with the others. This one too. Yeah, we can format it and make it look, yeah. Rather than having 19.63K, we can make it the complete value as call out value, I guess. Display units. If you put it to none, then it will bring your value out as the number itself. Yeah, as the number itself. Because you might want to format these two, and remove the decimal places to just to make your this thing consistent, so you don't have decimals anywhere. Okay, so yeah, I think it's fair this way. It's fair this way. And this accommodate all of them. So yeah, has to be space. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to not be able to do all of the design tonight because of time, but then just make everything this look. So let me come to check on us. Do we have any questions? Anything you feel you need to be clear on? Any questions at all? Hello, guys. Okay, please ask your questions. Ask. That's David, right? Yeah, David. You're free to ask your questions. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Sorry, I was having issues connecting my audio. All right, I don't know. I joined in late, though I understand a bit of PowerBI, but I don't know. Would this recording be can it be this class can it be recorded and saved
It's
for me to
recorded.
rewatch?
It's being recorded, sir.
All right, so as I want to just clarify that so I could watch over it from beginning with after the class. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome. So any other person have anything to say? Guys, let me know if you're with me. Or have we had enough for tonight? Hello, guys. Okay, some people just...
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I missed most of the class due to network glitches. The beginning of the class, I didn't even gain anything at all. So I'm just
Okay.
following anyway, but I didn't gain anything from the beginning. So I'm actually not.
Okay, the thing is, you've not used Power BI before now at all, right?
No, I've not used Power BI before.
Okay.
Does this look like an app completely to me, right?
Yes.
So
It's an app for your PC. You can get it for free. Okay.
Although I have a very proficiency level in Excel, so I can still relate with what you are doing.
Yeah.
That's why I think that the Power BI thing is a new stuff. So I don't
Yeah.
I don't even know where you start from. So that
Yeah, I get. You came into the class late, right?
no. Network was
Okay,
just
network. Okay.
hanging.
The thing
I
is,
was in class when someone's what's it called, background was making noise. You were asking the person to mute. I was in class through those times, but the network was just breaking out and breaking in.
Okay, I get you. The thing is, Power BI is not. Yeah, it's more. It has a lot. Is a lot more. I say easy to Excel. I use Excel a lot too. Many of these things I'm doing with Power BI I can do with Excel too. So perhaps if you have a good knowledge of Excel, you wouldn't have much problem trying to get Power BI. They are even from the same corporation. Most of those the Power Query that we're doing the cleaning, you can see that even in Microsoft Excel too. They've incorporate that into it. So, but the class is being recorded though. So if you have access to the recordings after the class, for those parts that you were distracted and maybe the network was this thing, you can just replay, go over it, and just take it in, just suck it in. Shega, I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So any other person has a comment, anything, a question? Hello guys, looks like we don't like to talk.
I'm trying to digest some of the things. I'm just trying to move around the screen to just see whether I can you understand
Okay.
how you got some of the calculations and the average and how you give the commands.
Okay, you have problem with how I got the average, Abby? Hello?
Yeah, basically how you got
Okay.
the average for this
I will show you
average.
that now. I will show you that. Any other thing? Because if I show that, I'm moving to another thing straight up. I'm not coming back to ask the questions. Okay.
Sorry to bother you. Does the
Okay.
Power BI app or application does it come with the desktop um, um, package, or you have to get
Desktop
it?
package. Like it's PowerBI is a free app on Microsoft Store. So just download it and you just get started with it. For the Power BI desktop though, because there are other versions, there's service and the mobile one. But for Power BI desktop, it's free. Just download it and you can just start using it immediately.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So I assume that's it. For the average, sorry, let me go back to that. I was trying to explain a minute, sorry. A minute. Okay. So concerning the average, this is the formula I used to do it. In Excel, like the other man said, in Excel, you work with cell by cell. If you're writing like an Excel formula now, you are saying this cell probably multiplied by this cell divided by this cell and that. But then in Power BI is different. You are working with an entire column at the same time. So what I want to do is, like I explained, if I go to probably an Aboki shop now, I visited the place 5 times, and for the 5 times I visited the place, I spent 500 naira in each case. So altogether, I'm spending like 2.5. So if I did to know the average I spent for each time I went to the Aboki shop, I'll just say the total amount I spent, which is 2,500 naira, divided by how many times I went to the Aboki shop, which is 5 times, right? So if I divide 2,500 by 5 times, I have 500 naira. So I spent, for each time I went to Aboki shop, I spent 500 naira. So using that same concept here, the total amount of revenue we have from all of our sales will be divided by how many transactions we did to get that total revenue. So when we divide that, we will get average amount that our customers spent per time they came into our store, any of the store now. So that was why I used the divide function. If you don't want to use the divide function, there is no problem. You can still write it as total revenue divided by the total transaction. It works. It's the same thing. You will get your same answer. This sign could work for you as divide too. But then, because Excel has that, I said Excel, sorry, Power BI has that keyword. So I just wanted to, you guys can know that it's there. So just use divide. So when you use divide, you say total transaction. Then, rather than use that divide symbol, now if you are using divide function already, you have to just put comma. Like you can see the syntax here. Then what's the denominator? Total revenue. Total revenue over total transaction. Total revenue over total transaction. So just close that. Sorry. If I close that, then that's it. So I hope you are clear on that now. Hello?
Yes, I'm more clear on that. The total transactions come from the sales ID, right? The total transaction, where is it coming from? The sales ID.
Yes, okay. Let me get to that. Though that transaction is coming from the count of the sales ID. You know, we assigned a unique number to every time we made sales. Like if you go to shop right now, you buy your stuff, or maybe spa, you buy your stuff, you go and check it out. For you, he performed one transaction with you. Though you bought a lot of things, you are one transaction. Another person comes, is the person's transaction number 2. Another person comes, transaction number 3. So if you want to count how many people you sold to that day, you just have to count the transaction ID. That's it. 1, 2, 3. You know, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's just it. That's how we get our total transaction. Just like I count, okay, this person came, another person came, another. So there's nothing strange about it. The ID is just to make sure that we are counting increasingly. 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person, 5, and so on. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I understand better now.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. So let's see. Let's see what we can do with this. Okay, so I want to give the background a color so at least you can look. We can see our cards on it. It's just looking so blank. So I just come to canvas background, select this color, and it wouldn't show automatically. I have to reduce the transparency for it to show. So just make it like this. Think just to see our cards, how they are placed on our stuff. Okay. Let me put that on a shape. So I'll say insert. I want to insert a shape. This is just like Microsoft Excel, this thing too. So let me put a rounded shape instead. So let me put a rounded shape. And let me put a rounded shape. Let me send it to the back. So it's on my what I want to show now. So I can't use it that way. I have to come to format and maybe say send it to back. Send it to the back. Let it be at the back. Let this guy come front. You see, it's in front now, right? So what I can do is format this guy, just make it pleasing. So I'll come to my, while clicking on it, I'll come to my general thing. I'll come to effects. I'll say remove the background, that white background. Then I can say my value. I want to change the color to maybe white, just to make it okay. It's not bad. So most times we don't value putting the name of the stuff, our calculation under. So we just put it on top. So I'll come and say my category label. I'll remove it down. All right. So then I'll come to my general. I'll say give it a title. If I give it a title, I'll call the title total revenue. Revenue. So then I can centralize that. I can make it bigger. So all these are just text formatting. So that work. Okay. And keep this black too. Let me make my title. Okay, just keep that. So I can move that. Okay. Let me make it about rounded of 15. Sorry. Let me give you the color. Any color like Standard color. Okay, let me keep that for now, so that doesn't take all of the time away. So in the same way, you can, format the rest of the others too. Just copy this, your design, and come and put it under the others too. Send it to the back. Yeah. Then you can put the same format on this. So once you have applied an effect on any of them, you can use Format Painter to apply the effect on others. Okay, so I can use Format Painter and apply the effect. Use Format Painter. Use Format Painter. Apply the effect. So if I've done this, it is easy for me to just come and duplicate. Send it to the back. Okay. This one can have a name. And call it total unit. Yeah. Let's call this one total unit. So this should work. Total transactions. Just to name these ones, I don't want to take so much time. I can bring this, call this total product. Agents. Okay. And I will call this products. Yeah. Call these transactions so they don't take a lot of our space. Okay. I think this should be smaller. Yeah. It's not so big, so it shouldn't take much of our space. It should be smaller too. It doesn't have to take all of our space. Yeah, not so big. Okay. So now we can bring this one to yeah, and stay here. It's not my own. Taking this off. So finally, I'll take this, put something here. Let's stay. Okay. Okay, I think now we have some piece. So this has to be like on average spent. Sorry about that. So I think I'm done with that. I can take the time to start. Okay. So let us keep this as this for now. So other things we can do is, we can put in a table. Now, in making visualizations in Power BI, it's not confusing, but then it's so simple that it can be confusing at times. So my way around it, what I tell people is make a table first. Put whatever parameter you want to put inside that table. Maybe put your total revenue and put your branch inside, the name of the branch. If you put this, let me make it very visible. Maybe I should make it 15. Yeah. Now you can convert this to a chart. You can now think about it that, okay, what chart will be best suited for this? You can come to your chart options. Then you can change this, then convert it to a pie chart, I guess. So I decided to pick a pie chart. Now you can make it a pie chart. In the same way, you can make another table. Put your total revenue inside. Then view it by your product. Okay. I'm not going to use product ID. I'm going to use product name instead. So you can see the different products. So we can make that. Can pick. I think it's more reasonable to pick a column chart for this. Yes. So you have a column chart for this. So you can see HP, you can see Dell, you can see Lenovo, you can see how they are selling. So in the same vein, you can drag your product into your legend. If I drag this product into my legend, that is HP, Dell, to change the color for each of them so that they can stand out. I can put it this for now. So now I have, revenue by branch, I have revenue by product, What else I can do is revenue by sales agents. I'll put that on a chart too. Okay. Because of the names, let me use a vertical chart. So I will use a minute, sorry. Okay. So I'll put in my sales agents' names. Then I'll put the revenue that each of them has generated over time. So you can see Emeka at the top of the list, Chioma, and so on and so forth. So we can keep this too. Can keep this. We can make something of a chart of a year chart too. I think do not to be set. Be best suited for that. Let's make a do not chart. And let's put the years we have in this. As I mentioned it, let's put the years and let's see how the revenue has come in by the years. No, I want this year. So I want my year to be my legend. Beautiful. So 2014 and 2015. That have a donut chart representing the sales in both years. Okay. So I can make a chart for you by quarter too. We can make a chart for each quarter. depending on what you want your distance to look like. That chart that I want to use now. Okay, let me use the line chart. Let me use the line chart. I can bring in my revenue. I want to see my revenue by year now. Let me see what that looks like. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, coming. So let me put that on the table. So I have my year, not the sum of year. That I want and I'll summarize there. Oh, sorry, quarter. Okay, I want my quarter. So I have quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. I want to put the years in too, because the years are different. We have 2 years. We have 2 years in here. Okay. So what was happening was that I was making a sum of my years, and I don't want that. Now it makes more sense. I have 2014 quarter 1, 2014 quarter 2, 2014 quarter 3, 2014 quarter 4, and I have the same for 2015. So all the years are fully represented now. Okay, so I can convert this to a line chart. So we can see how the sales went. So let me sort this. Sort it by the quarter. Let me sort it by the quarter in ascending order, so that it makes more sense to you. Ascending, I want it in ascending order. Sort axis, sorry, by quarter. Ascending order. Okay. So now you can see this is 2014, the darker blue, and this is 2015, the lighter blue. So in 2014, the sales started low, then it went up, came down. So what's going on? I just still sinusoidal. Can see the trend for 2015 too. So put that to one side. So we have all of this. If there are any other charts that comes to your mind you want to make, you can include them too. Is there any other thing? We can put in slicers too. Yeah, we can put in slicers. The point of having our slicers in our visualization is when we put in slicers, for instance, say, they have a slicer. If we put in a slicer, for instance, let me make a slicer for my year. So what slicer does is, let me use a tile for slicer. So this 2014, this 2015. If I click on 2014, all the data get formatted, and I start seeing what happened in 2014. So in 2014, Lenovo HP was the best seller. Apple was the least selling. 2015 is still the same, but then the least selling in 2015 was Lenovo. The best seller was HP. So if I click out, I'd have everything back. So slicer just helps you to, a kind of drill down to. It helps you to look into what's happening. You can select each year apart. You can select each branch apart with a slicer. I can come here, click on HP. So if I click on HP on this chart, everything will be about HP. So this was the total revenue from HP, total units of HP sold, total transaction made that concerned HP. HP is just one product. How many agents sold HP? 11 of them. How much is spent on average on HP when somebody enters the shop? So I can do the same for Dell, check for Lenovo, check for Apple, and all of that. Power BI just gives you that, you have that interaction. And that's because of the modeling tab, because they are linked to each other now. So if you click something on here, it can affect another thing in this table because you've modeled them accurately. So that is why modeling is also very important. You have to know what you are modeling. What are you joining to what? What is connecting to what's in another table? Okay. So I put this. Is this too big? So I think I want to make this a kind of white now. So my chart can. So you have to be mindful of knowing colors too. How you use colors. What colors show on what. So you don't just place colors that don't work. It's very important too. So it's my own way to always, off some titles, just to make my chart more bigger because there is literally small space before. So you just want to, you can think of bringing your legend to the bottom. Bring your legend to the bottom center, Then look at your y-axis. This is my y-axis on this chart. So I can remove the values so that my chart becomes bigger. Then I can place a data label on each distance so you can see what is happening there. Just come to data labels. So I have my data labels inside of it rather than using the conventional y and x axis. I think it makes more sense to me this way. So the same y axis, I remove the title so my chart has more space. So I can move it down, this can get more space too. So you can give your chart a title. Now you can say, okay, I think there's a title there already. Okay, there's a title. Revenue by product.
Ayobami, good evening. Can you check your WhatsApp message?
Okay. Okay. So we call this revenue by product, and can just make it this way. So the same way, because of time, we don't have the time to start, working with all the aesthetics, but just to make sure that you get the point, since I'm going to drop the exercise file so you guys can, get to see it, get to work on it, and I'll be looking forward to see what you guys will do with it, how much you can extract from it. There's still a lot you can do on this data set, but because of time, we start designing and working on all of these things. We're probably not going to, leave here on time. So, yes, I would bring this to a pause here. And if there are any questions, I think now is the best time to ask your questions because this is final. So if you have any questions for me concerning modeling, visualization, anything, just one or two persons, let's see, and let me point you in the right direction. Hello, guys. Any questions, confusions, anything you're not clear on? Anyone at all? Okay. So if there are no questions, then I think I would give up the floor for Mr. Okwe to address us, to speak to us.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Nice to have you here. Sure, you've enjoyed the class, but I'm sure some of you are not fully on the call. Some of you might be on the road. Some are maybe watching TV and listening in. Some are working. Some are cooking, eating. That's the downside of having an online class, right? So, but nevertheless, this has been almost a 2 hours webinar, and I believe you've enjoyed it. You have picked up or learned one or two things at least. Even if you don't learn anything, you have seen what Power BI looks like, at least for the first time. And for some of you that have seen it before, then it's additional knowledge for you tonight. So, but what I wanted to add is that this is just a tip of the iceberg. This is just a webinar of about 2 hours now, learning Power BI, introduction to Power BI data analysis. But if you want to learn more, of course, I always prefer and encourage anyone who is serious with what they want to learn, because data analysts are very, very much in high demand right now. If I have 2 job offers, so for if any of you are already good as a data analyst, you can reach out to us at IT Skill Center. We can, already help you with placement. But for those of you who are upcoming, data analyst role is very, very, very in high demand. I have a role in Bagada, Lagos. For those who are in Lagos, someone is looking for a data analyst there. Another one in Lekki. So you need to learn as fast as you can. If you're a student, you're trying to graduate, it's something you can start working even before you leave school. If you're already a graduate, you're probably teaching or doing something else, you can learn data analysis and start earning more than what you are earning right now. That's the essence of tech, or that's the game changer here. If there's the tech is something that if you learn in 6 months, you can literally transform your career path and transform your earning power. And it's something that I appreciate. The more years you spend in tech, the more money you are worth. Your worth keep increasing. So that's the idea. So I just want to encourage you guys who are serious. If you are really serious about your career and you're serious about increasing your earning power in 2025, this is the time for you to get serious with what you are learning. I know some of you must have watched online videos, must have probably watched YouTube and all of that, but get serious by learning physically. Get into a physical class where you avoid all distractions from your parents, your friends, your TV, your children, or anything that might distract you, even your work, if you're working full-time somewhere. So we offer a boot camp with accommodation in Lagos. You can come in for a 3 months boot camp and learn data analysis. With accommodation, in fact, is free. Only what you need to pay for is tuition. You just need to pay your tuition cost, and we give you accommodation for free if you are in Lagos or outside of Lagos. Our office is at Ikeja, Ogba. We offer bootcamp session, 3 months data analysis course. You come in, you learn for 3 months. After that, we help you, we support you to get internship placement where you can then practice what you learned in 3 months and start working. So within the space of 6 months, you are sure that you have the potential to earn way more than you're earning right now. So that's what I wanted to chime in on the course, because no matter how much you watch him do in 2 hours, you can't learn everything in 2 hours. It's an 8 weeks to 12 weeks course. You can't expect to cram or crank an 8 weeks course into a 2 hours webinar. So I want to encourage those of you who are interested, and if data analysis is not your forte or your area of interest, there are other several tech courses. I always advise people to look at the area of strength before they decide the tech course they want to go for. Not everybody can be a programmer or a coder. So there is cybersecurity, there's product design, there's product management, there is software testing, there's data analysis, there's cybersecurity, there is software engineering. There are so many, database management. There are so many courses that you can go for, but data analysis is one of them. And right here, you've seen introduction to Power BI. There's Excel, there's SQL, there's Python, there's R. These are other things that you need to learn as a data analyst, right? So if you are here with us and you are interested, you can, reach out to us at any time. You can reach out through the same number where you got the flyer from. You can reach out to your instructor here also, Mr. Yobami. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to us at hello@IT Skills Center. You can call us anytime on WhatsApp, and we will much be happy to have you. So that's it. So for as many of you that are here tonight, you can also invite your friend, to join us at IT Skill Center in any of the courses that you want to take. Like I said, it's not only data analysis that we offer several courses. You can visit our website at itskillcenter.com.ng to see all our programs and, take advantage of anyone that interests you and excites you. So that's it. You can literally, no matter how much money you are earning right now, 200K, 300K per month, 250, 150, 170, depending on what you do at the moment, you can transform your earning power by getting into tech and be in the right space. Don't just get into tech because everybody is getting into tech. You have to find your own area of interest. What is your area of interest? What are your interests? What are your strengths? Do you like logic? If you don't like maths, and you don't like calculation, and you don't like looking at Excel sheets, don't go into data analysis. If you love someone that loves colors, you love designs, product design is your forte, is your area of strength. Don't be a monkey swimming inside water or a fish trying to climb a tree. All right, so that's it. That's it for tonight. So thank you very much for joining. Since there are no questions, we'll bring it to a close here. I want to encourage you guys to reach out, keep in touch with us, and always, check out our programs and reach out anytime you feel like you are ready to get into tech. And if you're already into tech, you can learn more, you can advance your career, you can move from the level you are currently to an intermediate role, a senior level role, earning 800, 1 million naira per month. So it depends on your interest, depends on what you are really, your aspirations and your interests. So that's what I want to say. Oluwafemi, thank you for joining. Lawa Adekunle, thank you for joining. Korusta or Costa, I'm not sure it's Korusta now. David, Israel, Tony. I've not heard Tony speak throughout this call, so I'm sure you're listening in. And thank you to our instructor for teaching us for 1 hour 24 minutes. That's a long time, teaching. But thank you very much to all of you, and I hope to see you soon in our classrooms. So don't forget to apply on our website or reach out to phone numbers. I can drop the phone numbers in the chat box for you just in case you want to reach out to us later on. You can do that anytime you want. So thank you very much. Thanks to our instructor, and we'll see you again very soon. Have a lovely night rest. So you can check in the chat box for our phone number in case you need to reach out to us anytime, any day.